Probably one of the biggest expos that we've ever attended to date. Tell us from your perspective, what really stood out?
Was really scared, to be honest. We are still in the beginning of our journey. Brands there are quite big, multinational companies.
What were some of the top trends that you could kind of see coming through? Where is skincare heading?
I was blown away what was out there.
Welcome to Daily Dose with Dr. Tanya. We're going to talk everything about health, wellness, beauty, and things between. As a doctor, as a mother, and an entrepreneur who is a founder of a skin brand, we have a lot to share and talk to you. Each week, we are all looking into certain topics and we will discuss in-depth, honest discussions with the leading experts and gain practical steps and tips so that you can live well, age well, and be happy and deal with it. So from skincare to self-care, from hormones to hustle, this is your space where we will have real conversation, real results for real people. So let's get started.
So Tanya, you've just got back from Beautyworld Dubai, and it was probably one of the biggest expos that we've ever attended to date. And there's so much noise about it, so many press releases. So tell us from your perspective, what really stood out?
I have to say the whole experience was really out of the world. It's one of those situations where you go with a lot of expectations, but underlying, I was really scared, to be honest, because we are still in the beginning of our journey, but the brands there are quite big. They're well established. They are multinational companies. So it was very scary for me. So that's my first thought. I was very scared. And but I wanted to make sure that I give it my 100% for the event, like starting from like the pre-prep, like we had so much of planning and discussions and getting the right people on board to help us and all that. And even then, we always give that space for unexpected challenges that is kind of inevitable in any sort of business. So that was expected as well, that there's going to be some things that will be beyond our control. So overall experience was a huge learning curve.
So that brings me to my next question, Tanya. What was it like on the show floor? What worked, what didn't? I know from my side, I can say a lot of people will see the finished product and think about all the glitz and the glam and how fantastic it all looked. But little do they know, our little small team was behind the scenes with a few late night phone calls with you. We had a shipment delay, and because it was a weekend, we couldn't have a courier go collect it. And we were so passionate about having these samples available for the first day of the expo. So you went out there yourself, you took your driver, and you had to shift, I think it was over 5 or 6 boxes, 20 kilos each. And you did that with your driver and then drove back. And, it's a lot of logistics and a lot of, when you're working in another country where you don't necessarily have the team and the backing and the support, it is a lot of you having to make those calls and having to go and do things yourselves, I know you're not afraid to roll up your sleeves. I remember the call you gave me when you got to the first expo site and they were still building. It was a construction site and you're like, okay, how can I help? What can I do to speed this process along? So tell us about what was the insight as to how it all played out and what's the reality behind these big shows?
Let's just not talk about it. Let's just look at the pre-pictures and what goes on the shelf and all the lovely bags, and let's just focus on that. This is a reality. This only a business owner will understand the hard work that we put in to be able to be out there and talking to customers. And when you come, we'll be happy to give you bags and talk about the products. That's the nice side. But all the other side, that's the reality. So
being one of the biggest beauty expos possibly in the world, what were some of the top trends that you could kind of see coming through new products, new ingredients? Where is skincare heading?
I was blown away with what was out there. So may it be the technology in skincare, that people have adapted, and it's no longer just focusing on just certain basic ingredient, but it's like imagining a bit more, certain injectables, like how those injectables can be used as serum. So some of the ingredients, the revolution in some of the ingredients just been amazing. Then packaging, especially in the fragrance sector, was just outstanding. Anything you imagine, it's there. So, and everything was just gorgeous and beautiful. The colors, it's a happy vibe. So that I thought was just really the next level. And I can see the world's going towards, that sort of happy vibe, the cheerful, the young feel. Then another thing I felt was, traditionally when we, started this industry, in this journey, it was more like for women, what suited women. But it's no longer the case. Where maybe the models that certain pictures and certain models the people have used, it's no longer just the women. It's very gender neutral, and that is a huge thing that actually I took home, because very gender neutral. The colors are, it's no longer blue for boys and pink for girls sort of thing. It was more like, it was very much inclusive. Skincare has become like that, and it's no longer just skincare, applying cream, tap tap tap. It's, people started enjoying the journey, whether it's men or women or whoever it is. It's a journey that looking after yourself is no longer like the big deal. Like, yeah, it's what people should be doing. So just loving it.
I feel like skincare and personal care is becoming more about the experience, which I love as a consumer. I mean, who doesn't love going into the bathroom and you get a little pep in your step from the packaging being a cute little honey pot? I've seen quite a few lip oils that look like that, and it's that fun wavy design. I feel like we all need pockets of little joy in our lives in this day and age. And if you can get that from the everyday products that you're using, I mean, why not? Being at such a big event and seeing all these brands from all around the world, do you feel like consumers are now almost overwhelmed by everything we have on the global stage? And because we have access to it now, like look at how Korean skincare has kind of trended through TikTok and people are ordering from overseas. Do you think we have gone too far?
I really don't think we have gone too far. I think people now, customers and people out there, they have better choices. So it's no longer certain big giants can do trends and bring out products. It's no longer like that. It's no longer unachievable. For like instance, a brand like us, we are very new to the market and we are at the beginning of our journey. But it kind of feels that it is achievable, that we can communicate to people. We can prove our products are good and our products are then being accepted. So all these things the changes has happened in such a way that encourages real, authentic companies like us who wants to make a difference, who wants to actually do formulations and bring it out to the world. So it's no longer the big people club. It's like anyone who has the ideas, who has the vision, and who's brave enough to enter the market, they can. So which leaves the customers having more choices, more options, and they can shop between the different product lines. Some people may like a face wash from one brand, and they may like the serum from another brand and hair care from completely somewhere else, which is totally fine. Now it's what customer wants. And surviving in this, is it a cluttered market? I wouldn't use the word clutter. I heard it a lot of times. People have even told me, why you're entering the cluttered market. I don't think anything is cluttered. It's actually you create a space. You have niche. You focus on your niche. You have people who will be loyal and who like what you are bringing out there. So in that sense, every brand with a strong USP will survive. So it may be looking overwhelming from outside, but the brand which is real and authentic with a unique selling point will definitely be successful amongst the big players and everything. So that's what I think.
I think you're right there, Tanya. I think being on the global stage, it doesn't change anything for us as a brand, but I do think it is better for the consumer. I mean, instead of being restricted to sort of what is just available in their country, you're able to access brands and new ingredients and innovation from all around the world. And I think as a brand, that means, you know, the pressure's on. You've got to step up. You've got to meet where the market is, and you've got to deliver for your customers. It's no longer just, you know, a simple hyaluronic acid will do. Every brand has access to that. It's what's different, what's new, where is the technology at, and how can you incorporate that? Because I feel like if you're not evolving as a brand with the ingredients and you are competing with these large companies or trends like Korean skincare, you are going to get forgotten about and you are going to lose that customer base. So I think being able to stay nimble and making sure that your eyes are open and you're learning about ingredients from all around the world, I feel like that's how to be successful. Speaking about brands being on the world stage and sort of what their marketing looks like, clean beauty is something I see almost every brand use. Do you believe it is a buzzword?
Love the question. You know, years ago when we started the journey, clean beauty wasn't kind of like the trend or the buzzword used because, you know, it was quite clearly brands where, I mean, I'm not saying all brands, but there were brands who would use any additives or preservatives or certain chemicals that would, show to have results that's magical, a quick step result, so that people will repeatedly buy it. The products to last longer, certain ingredients to do that. And unfortunately, these ingredients has not just negative and adverse effects limiting to the skin, but also can have systemic changes, you know, causing disruption in our body system, our hormones, etc., etc. So these days, and thanks to social media and people educating about it, people are now aware of this fact. And there's a global trend towards increased awareness. People know what they want and what they're targeting and how it's been sourced, where it's been sourced, and how it's been made. Because the awareness is there in the community. Customers are not just blinded. So now the brands are now forced to make sure they meet the criteria, they meet the standards so that they can survive, and then people will be loyal. And it is not just limited to the right ingredients and amazing, way of making and technology, but it's also, are they being conscious? That level of social commitment also has a role to play in this as well. So it's not just limited to the ingredients and the manufacturing, but also like how socially aware you are, how committed you are to give back. All of this counts. So brand putting themselves as clean and conscious is great. I hope the trend continues. It should have been there a long time ago, but it's great.
I mean, clean beauty is an interesting one because I do think, coming from the marketing space, a lot of brands are using it. And I do feel like the term itself might be overused. But I think, like you said, Tanya, the way and what it stands for the brand, making sure that the ingredients are the purest form that they can. All you've got to do is look back at marketing and products, 20 or 30 years ago. And you're right, they were filled with probably unnecessary preservatives, filler ingredients. And as we've evolved over time and with the new research that we're coming at as well, doctors are starting to pick up actually what you're putting on your skin and what's being absorbed goes straight into your bloodstream. So if you're using products with unnecessary fillers and chemicals, that can be impacting things like your hormones and skin conditions. So I do feel like, although the term is overused within marketing, looking for a brand that still stands behind clean ingredients being in the most pure form and their formulation standing behind that, I feel is what's really still important. So now, like you just identified, we are playing all on the same global stage, you know, your small brands and then your big brands with the millions of dollars. How, as a consumer, do you know who to trust?
As a consumer, I don't think I would even be worried about whether they're big players or small players or any of those things. As a consumer, I imagine I would be looking at what products they have, what are the ingredients in the product, are they a clean and conscious company, and I wouldn't go with any sort of celebrity endorsement, but I will want to have my own judgment after studying the product. So basically, it may be a big company, but that product is something that suits me. That's fine. Or if it be a smaller brand who's also competing alongside with the big brand in the same platform. But irrespective of that, if that brand has got the key ingredients and the things that I'm looking for, I will go with that brand as well. So it's no longer the big or small or anything. It's about what the consumers want, and it should not be based on celebrity endorsement and lot of millions of dollars spent on the ads and marketing. That's what I think.
So I mean, talking about the Middle East, let's sort of dive into sort of why we chose to be there as a brand. Like, why did we want to expand in the UAE first?
Actually, can I be perfectly honest over here, right? Because I know it's just us, and I can be open as I actually never thought that I will be ever leaving my brand will be in the global platform or anything. That's not actually how I started it, because being in the global market and being in Middle East and India and I'm just small. I'm just a tiny brand, and it was like very unachievable, unattainable sort of heights for me. So it's never been in my vision to be a global brand, as they said. But what really changed was that just before COVID, we had the first opportunity as a part of Gold Coast City Council delegation. We went to Arab Health, and that was the first time ever that I was able to see the market over there, the opportunities there, and then I started doing my research. Then I also had people asking about, like my hair and, how to protect it, because I was a doctor there and stuff. So that kind of like helped me to do more research. And then I understood that the weather that we have in Queensland and over in the Middle East, it's hot and it's sweaty, and there are a lot of similarities. So I thought, our brand's doing great over here. The products are amazing. It's stood test of time with the hot weather. The stability is there. When you apply your skin, nothing is going to run down or anything under the makeup with using the cream. So I thought that would be a great way to introduce the brand over there. And I took that as an experiment to see, and I got great response. So it wasn't like a heavily strategic planning and being positioning, and we don't have any of that. It's just us taking the decision. And as you and I, we talk a lot about what we do, or let's try that, and and it was more of that sort. And as we progressed, as I got connected with people over there and the customers, I have actually fallen in love with the place, and I understood what the problems are, what problems they're trying to solve, and I got more excited. So I go back every year. I have new products and I'm trying to pitch, because I really want to be there, because I feel that my products from Queensland is going to be a perfect fit. So that is why. So it wasn't like a big, planning and the, vision board, having Middle East at the top of the thing. Nothing like that. It was more of it just happened as a flow.
I mean, the UAE is one of the biggest markets. Like, I think I have here, it's worth 60 billion at the moment, and it's projected to reach even more by the end of 2025. So when people say, why did you choose the UAE to enter? I mean, you've just got to look at where the customer demand is and where the growth is going to be. And that's where you're going to see yourself grow the most as a brand, and probably the quickest. I think a lot of people worry about what the right way to grow is, and a lot of people will think that they need to be at a certain level within their own country before heading into the global markets and starting to export. But I really think, as Tanya said, it's about looking at where the customer demand is and then rising to meet that. As you just mentioned, like, Australia's weather and our climate is a good match to what the UAE goes through. Do you think the other big brands are adapting to the same local needs, or they're just spinning the same formulation for every skin type and every skin color?
I don't think I can answer that accurately because I don't know and I'm not involved in their whole process of what problems they're trying to solve, and how it's been manufactured and what level of testing they have done, and what level of experiments they have carried out. I really can't answer that. All what I can say is that we from Australia, Queensland, we have got a very unique situation because our weather is so hot and humid, and so is the Middle East, and most of that Asia, Middle East region. So I think for our brand, I can speak for my brand, it's a perfect fit and a perfect match, because one of the things that we worry about here is clogging of the skin, because it's hot, humid, sweaty, it causes breakouts, and we have to wear sunscreen all the time. It's again going to clog our pores and stuff. So we have the similar situation over there, and it's multicultural, and we are multicultural as well. So all those sort of factors, we would actually be a good match, in my opinion. A lot of other brands, I'm not sure whether brands from the colder countries as a whole, as a general, will be able to test as much, or whether they are able to cater. But don't quote me on that. I'm sure all the other brands have done their research and doing everything great. Yeah, but I can tell you that ours is a great fit because it's stood test of time, and we got enough and more testimonials and reviews to say that it's it's been the best moisturizer they have used, or it's been the best serum that we used, and it's really suitable for that multicultural skin that needs that extra TLC in the hot weather.
I think looking at what other big brands are doing as they enter a market is a good guiding post as to what might be working, what not be working. I think sometimes, being a smaller business, we're actually able to be more agile, besides being a good fit, because of the weather, the climate, the skin types, the multicultural skin types that we have in here in Australia as well. I feel like being smaller, we've been able to adapt marketing campaigns. We've been able to cater directly to the consumers in the Middle East. Sometimes I do feel like the bigger brands get stuck in their ways, especially in the marketing aspects, as to how it needs to look and feel, and it's probably all run from their head office in Switzerland, whereas Tanya's able to be there on the ground. She's able to meet with consumers themselves. We're talking to media there, and then that feedback is coming straight back, and we're making tweaks and we're adapting. And I think that is something that makes a big difference when you're talking smaller brands versus the big brands. So what advice would you give to other Australian brands interested in entering this market?
Okay, I'm still at the beginning of my journey, so I don't know whether I'm like the expert to give and the advice, and I'm like reached that level to give everybody advice. But anyway, I'll tell you what I feel. Quite frankly, I think the most important thing is you being in the market. That's very important. You need to be connecting with people. You need to study the people. You need to understand what they're thinking, what their culture is, what is their do's and don'ts, because that could be completely different to what we look at the Middle East. from here in Australia. So that's going to be very different. It's going to be like an eye opener when you actually be present over there and actually have the meeting. Then you understand what they need. So once you get that, then you actually will hopefully look at your specific, like your USP, and then start communicating on that. So yeah, overall I feel the bottom line is being present in the market, talking to people, and being present amongst people who have done this before will help you to go a long way.
So how would you describe your experience being a female business leader in the UAE? Is it as progressive as you first thought?
Oh my God. Whether you're a man or woman, it just shocks me even now when people say that how is it being a woman in business going to the Middle East? I think the struggle is exactly the same whether you're a man or a woman, because it's a new country, you're having a new business, you need to be known in the industry, you need to network, you need to connect, everything, you're building from scratch. So whether you're a man in business or a woman in business, it doesn't matter. You both have to start somewhere, you both have to have the same journey, and whether you're a woman or not, woman or a man, it's equally scary, and it is. It's like the big unknown, the uncertainties, and the challenges that comes. And of course, what I would say, and again, it doesn't matter whether you're a man or woman, but maybe most of our females being in a different culture, maybe understanding the do's and don'ts, being culturally conscious so that you don't want to offend anyone. You're not intentionally offending, but if you're more culturally aware, that will help you. And then when you do that, people are more respectful of the fact that you're being accommodating and you are respecting that culture. So that's what more so how I feel, rather than being a woman in business. The only time I felt that way is, I miss my family, I miss my babies, that mom's guilt place. I don't think that is as much. Like for a man, probably may not be that much. So that's the only challenge that I've had, like the mom's guilt. I'm away for this week and they have got some activities, and yeah, other than that, I've not felt like the whole journey is any different for a man or woman.
So coming off such a big event where we learnt so many things, we had so many beautiful insights, what's next? Where are we heading now?
We have just started. Okay, so we've been in the Beautyworld, one of the biggest cosmetic events, shows in the world. Now, that kind of gave me the confidence. We have done this. We've done really well. We've stood, tall against the big brands, brands that made it big. We are standing alongside with them. So that has given me the confidence. So now I'm telling you, our journey has just begun. Now, the next we are going to Cosmoprof India in Mumbai from the 4th to the 6th of December. And I've been there last year, but this year it feels very different to me, because of the confidence that now I know the market. Now I've already been at Cosmoprof last year, so now I know what to expect. And I'm like really exciting phase of our brand that we are going more places.
Yeah, I feel like you're right. I feel like as other brands and most businesses start to quiet down, as we're about to have a break for the end of the year, I feel like we are just getting started and things are ramping up over here. I really do think that 2026 is going to be a big one for us, with new brands on the horizon. I'm actually really excited about some of these new products we're bringing out. So yeah, we just keep on moving.